Sky. At night she comes and she stays with us. Alright guys. Okay, so talking about why we're talking about why there's so many stray dogs around in our town. Okay, so this is the most asked frequent question that's been asked. Why there's so many stray dogs, and what are we going to do about it? This is Tyson, guys. Everyone that knows Tyson. He's got encephalitis. He's an encephalitis survivor, and it's been about a year now. So he's a warrior. He's a fighter, and he's still here with us, which is actually a miracle. Okay, guys. So the reason why there's so many stray dogs in Turkey is because there is no law like the Western countries, like Australia, for instance. There's the RSPCA. When someone finds a dog on the street, they call the RSPCA. They come out, they take the dog, they take it to a shelter. It's a kill shelter. So they put it up for 2 weeks. If anyone's up, if anyone wants to adopt the dog or whatever, and if no one adopts it, they put the dog to sleep. Now, this is not a humane thing to do. Okay, yes, it's good for not having a lot of strays on the streets, and it's good for like a control system, but it's not a humane act, and it's not a very humane thing to do. In Turkey, there is no law like that, and that's why there is so many dogs and it's out of control on the street. So what happens is someone gets a dog, they can't look after that dog, they leave that dog, they throw it on the streets, they cut its ears, they throw it on the streets, they look after the dog for a couple of years or whatever. That one dog, right, if that dog's a female, it will give birth twice a year. Each time it will give birth to about 10 to 12 dogs, puppies. So that's about 20 puppies a year from just one dog. Now, 20 puppies a year from one dog. No, the 20 don't survive. So if the 20 did survive, if it was 100% survival rate, there'll be so much more dogs on the streets. But the survival rate is like 20%. So there's not many of them that survive. A lot of them die. A lot of them get hit by a car, viruses, deadly viruses and diseases. Some of them get adopted, and the rest just stay on the streets. So for one dog, one puppy to make it through 1 year or 2 years to survive on the street, it's a hell of a ride. A hell of a ride. You got cars. You got to dodge cars. You've got people that throw rocks and try to poison you, try to kill you. You got other dogs that try to attack you. So it's really, really, really tough for a stray dog, to survive on the streets. Now, in our town, it's not so bad because the food and water supply is on point with us. We've got everything covered. But in other places, we do hear stories where dogs actually die from starvation, and that's a very, very, very upsetting way to die. Like, dying from starvation. There's no food. You got dogs that you got groups of dogs that change locations here. So when we go to feed them the second time, they're not there. So, they roam around. They're not very territorial. They're more of a scouters. So we've got the ones that mark their territory. They always go to the same place and we feed them. And then we've got ones that scout around. We can't see them. We can't find them. We feed them in one spot, and we feed them again in a different spot, a week later or something. So it's out of control. Like, it's out of control. There is no system. There is a system, but there is no proper system, as in like, spay and neuter. That's what we need to do. But it's like there's just so many. There's just so many dogs. Where do you start? Where do you, like, how do you even control it? You know, like for instance, we got a phone call yesterday. A truckload of dogs got dumped in our town from the city. A truckload. So a truckload, I'd say about 20, 25 dogs. That's 20, 25 more headaches and problems that I've got to deal with, tomorrow. We're going to get phone calls saying there's new dogs in the area. There's going to be dogs where they're going to probably attack people because they're not familiar with the place, familiar with the area. They're not going to know where to get food from. They're going to fight with each other. Oh, so many things, so many things. So it's just like you get like the local dogs under control, everything's sweet, and then all of a sudden it's just like, wow, where did these dogs come from? Where did all of these new dogs come from? And then it's just you're just starting from scratch again. So yeah, what we're trying to do is look. The other thing is this, right? So why are these dogs our responsibility? We got to always ask ourselves that question. They are our responsibility because we have genetically modified them. We've domesticated them, and we've turned wild dogs into pets. And that's the reason why they can't survive without us, because they're scavengers. They're not hunters. We've changed their genetics around from being a hunter, wild hunter, to a pet, domesticated pet. So you've got wolves, you've got hyenas, you've got dingoes, you've got foxes. Like the dog genetic, the dog offspring, the breed, and then you've got they can all survive. They can catch whatever in the wild, and then you've got all of these dogs. Like you've got where is she? Sky. One sec. Well, that's Tyson. Imagine Tyson. Tyson can't live on the street. Okay, I don't know where Sky is. She's okay. Well, she's somewhere in the house. I can't find her. So she's out all day, and then here we go. There we go. See that? She's cute. All right, so imagine these guys. How is this guy going to survive on the streets? Tell me. Do you think he has a chance? No. They're dependent on us. Look at him. Look at him. He's absolutely dependent on a human being. He's not a hunter. He can't hunt. He can't catch a rat or a butterfly or whatever. No way. And then you got this one here. She's a bimbo. She just plays in the dirt all day, in the sand, runs around, and when she's hungry, she'll come home. Because she knows that, she's not going to be able to catch any food. She's not a hunter, not a gatherer, nothing. So, okay, so this problem is ours. We have created this issue. We've domesticated, genetically modified these wild dogs into pets, and now we're just like going to get rid of them and just throw them away and say we don't want to deal with it. We can't do that. So we are the problem. We have to fix the problem. So, there's all these allowances by the government and all that sort of stuff to do all this spay and neuter and all of this, the programs to not, to stop the population of these guys. But what happens is the government has a certain amount allowance and they don't use those funds. They use it for something else. That's why there's this problem. This problem is because the funds that are being allowed for this are being used for other stuff. Okay, so now and then you got people like me trying to do things themselves. You know what I mean? My main priority goal is to keep these guys alive, and we feed them and give them water every day. But the main thing is to get them spay and neutered. But then you concentrate on one thing, and then how you going to keep the rest alive? And it's just like, whoa, And then you got all of these newborns. You got all these new, people calling up saying a dog just gave birth, another dog just gave birth, and then you're just like, wow, you've got 80 puppies, 90 puppies, and you're just like, what are you gonna do with them? People are calling me like a dog's about to give birth. Can you come? Like, my midwife or something. Like, I don't know what to do. It's just like I get stuck in this world where people are calling me and they're like calling me for random things, and you're just like, I'm a builder, man. Like I'm an electrician. Like this is not my job, but it's like you volunteer, you step up, and then you do this, and then all of a sudden you've got all of this responsibility in your hands. So yeah, that's the story with these dogs. We have That's why I feel like we're responsible for it. So we have to sort this out. We've turned them into pets. You're not gonna see, a pug on the streets. No chance in the world. A pug didn't come out of the wild, or Sky. She didn't come out of the wild. You know. So that's why we need to stick together, and we need to do something about it, because these are all living, breathing creatures. They're alive. They have a heart. They have a brain. They think for themselves. Like it's just people are crazy to just think that they're nothing. It's just a dog. Don't worry about it. Just kick it, whatever. At least we've changed. We've kind of not kind of. We've changed the outlook on these dogs here. Like what people used to look at them like they were nothing, worthless, and now all of a sudden everyone's trying to feed them and act like they care, which is good. It's a start. So yeah. Anyway, we saved two dogs today from a rooftop. They were hungry. They were there for 4 or 5 days. They couldn't get down. That's why they were hungry. Or else there's food. There's always food, but they got stuck in a abandoned job site, and yeah, this is a very common problem. We had this problem heaps of times, and we've sorted it out. So I'm gonna try to make the video before I go to sleep, if I don't fall asleep, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, so I've got so much content, so many videos, guys, and I just really don't have time to post stuff. That's why I love doing live videos, and I appreciate everyone that comes on and watches it. It really, really helps me out. It just gets a lot of things out and going. Like I love doing live videos. I just need to get more people to appreciate it and watch it. But the problem is, it's the time differences. Like at the moment, it's late at night, and I think it's like morning for most of you guys. All right, guys. Stay safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be doing probably 2-3 live videos tomorrow with at the shelter. I'll probably go see Zeus tomorrow. I couldn't see him today. So, yeah, and I'll probably do another morning walk live video. It's always interesting, always little different things happening. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks.